Go.
Hello kids, welcome to our YouTube channel.
This is episode 4 of Confessions with a Teacher. I am Erica Tomo and thank you for joining me. We're good. There's no production crew here, but I'm declaring that the production crew will come. Are you going to see me on your TV? Alright, so today I want to talk about the fact that teachers want to be recognized, right? We want to be recognized in terms of being rewarded for our work, and we want to be recognized in terms of acknowledgement. So let's get into it. Many people won't say it, but the truth is, as human beings, like in our heart of, hold on. Yes, in our heart of hearts, as human beings, we want to be acknowledged, like we want to be recognized for whatever it is that we're doing, and teachers are no different. As I said, I can speak for me and many other teachers, thousands of teachers that I know. We want to be recognized. So let's get into it. Whatever work we do, we're compensated, fine. But this is just beyond compensation, right? Teachers don't want to battle for that one award at the end of the term or that one award at the end of the year. That's not the kind of reward, right? We want like meaningful rewards. So again, get into the rewards later. But in terms of acknowledgement, you want to know that you go to work somewhere that what you are doing, you're valuable. What you're doing means something. You're contributing in a positive, wholesome way to wherever you work as a teacher. And so you want a pat on the shoulder. And I know a lot of persons won't say it, because when you say it, you sound weak, or you sound like, oh, I don't have to ask anybody to acknowledge me. I don't need anybody's acknowledgement for what I'm doing. But the truth is, like, in your heart of hearts, you do want to be acknowledged. You want somebody to pat you on the shoulder to say, girl, you're doing a good job. You're doing a darn fine job with those students. Keep it up. Or I noticed that you would have done so and so last month. I was impressed by that. Or I admire it. I like it. I think I may use it in my class. We want to be acknowledged, right? By our peers, and our peers generally acknowledge us, right? Because we kind of know each other's strengths and weaknesses. But we also want to be acknowledged by our administrators. As I was saying, we don't want the award at the end of the term. We don't want the award at the end of the year. We want it to be something that is ongoing, that each month that you're told that you're doing okay, because as I spoke about last week, sometimes we have balancing issues, and so when you feel like you're not winning at home because everything is out of whack, you're not winning at work, you're not winning anywhere in life, right? But if it is that at this area in your life, which is work, you're acknowledged, it's almost like a feel good kind of a thing. I don't know if I'm saying it wrong, but that's just my confession. We want to be acknowledged. Teachers want to be acknowledged as teachers. We want to be acknowledged as teachers. And so it does not necessarily mean that such reward or such acknowledgement, it doesn't have to be tangible. Alright, so that's one. Two, we want to be rewarded. Now this now is a little bit tricky, and we know are towing the line between, or on a thin line between, do I desire a reward at the end of the term, at the end of the year, which is in the form of a trophy, like best teacher of the year, or money. Do I desire that? Do I desire a gift basket, some flowers? Do I desire that? Or is it that my reward as a teacher is spiritual, right? So this is where it gets a little tricky, because for people like me, I know that I was called to teaching, and there's a difference between people who are called to teaching and those who just chose to go to teachers college just at random, or they never had a better option, or they never wanted to go to another college, and somebody say you can go to the teachers college up there, kind of a thing. There's a difference between somebody who just decides that probably I can do teaching, and somebody who is called. It means that spiritually the Lord instructed you, or would have put persons in your community to say to you, you've been doing so and so for a number of years. You may want to go into teaching, or you're very good with the children. Have you ever considered teaching? So that's the kind of thing, that's the baseline, right? And so when you're called to the profession, ultimately your reward is that, listen, you'll get crowns when you go to heaven, when it is time for God to end this world, and I really hope he does very soon because it's just too much. But when it is that the world ends and the Lord comes back, your reward is not a physical thing, it is eternal. So we have eternal life with him, and we have stars in our crowns in heaven. So for somebody like me, if it is that I am never ever rewarded, I get no physical reward for the hard work and the dedication that I put in for the children that come into my care, a part of me is okay with that. But then there's also another part of me who sometimes, some days, just some days, I want somebody to say, you know, Mrs. Thompson, you're doing a good job. You have been doing well. You have these areas to improve on, but you've been doing well. And that's the truth also too, where, you know, a good teacher comes in play. I know I have shortcomings. Everybody does. But other than getting, you know, reprimanded or being spoken to about, you know, the things that are your shortcomings, what are the other things that teachers do that are admirable, are to be highlighted for them not to be motivated? Because the truth is, if it is that you pat your children on the shoulder, so when your children do something very good in your class, or even your own biological children, and you say, hey, good job, and you give them a high five, nobody's more motivated and inspired than that child. Just a simple high five. For us as adults, as much as we think we're grown and we're mature and we're so successful in our career and our profession, the truth is sometimes we want a pat on the shoulder. I let that sink in, because for real, sometimes you want a pat on the shoulder just to encourage you, because you see, when the days get tough, I'm telling you, the days get tough and you're like, my last day, I will put in my resignation letter, whether it be because of the children's behavior, or because of administration, or just because of your own frustrations. There are days when you're like, I'm going to throw in the towel, this is not for me, I'm done with it. God, why would you want to put me in a profession like this? This is something that is killing me, it's driving me crazy, I can't manage, I'm not doing well, I don't think I'm doing well. On those days, you need somebody, and it can be in the form of a mentor at your workplace, somebody in administration, or just somebody who supervises you. We need it as human beings, no matter what you think, no matter how mature you think you are, or you don't need people, you don't need acknowledgement from anybody. We do, and I'm confessing that for myself and for others, that sometimes we just want a pat on the shoulder to say, hey, keep going, right? The rewards are also important in terms of, you know, somebody getting an award at the end of the year, at the end of a term. Those things are important, right, for some people. But the truth is, if it is that you want all of your teachers to feel acknowledged, or to be acknowledged, or to feel like, you know, my work means something, I am of some value, that one award will not suffice for everybody. But if it is that the pat on the shoulder is ongoing throughout the term, then at the end of a year, at the end of a term, there will be no issue of jealousy, because those things are real, where people feel jealous or feel unwanted is too, it's not what I want to say, but they feel like they're not regarded. That's the thing, like they feel like they're not regarded because they never got a particular award. But as I said before, if it is that they are given a pat on their shoulder, they're given a nudge, they're given a miss, I like what you're doing, keep going, right? You're coming late, I'm gonna work on the late issues, that's a topic for another day, but keep going. You are being effective with the children, you're having some effect on them, and it's positive, keep going, kind of a thing. So some of us, our reward is ultimately a spiritual reward. It is heavenly, because we have stars in our crowns because of how we would have been taking care of the children, nurturing them, loving on them, teaching them, doing our best to raise them up in such a way, even though they're not our biological children. So that reward is eternal. That's not happening now. So physically, when we come to our workplaces and we put in the hard work, and if it is that you're an administrator, you would you would have been a teacher first before you became a principal or vice principal, or in any kind of supervisory role. And so you know what it feels like to just be putting in the hard work, and it feels like, ooh, nobody sees me working hard here. And it is not, let me just say this, it is not that you're working hard for people to see that you're working hard. You're working hard genuinely. But sometimes, so look at Moses. Moses, when he was on the mount, his arms got tired. He was the leader of the people. He wasn't working hard for them to see him. God gave him instructions, and so he did what he was supposed to do. But his arms were getting tired. He was getting tired, and so God said, "Hey, I'm going to give you a helper." And he gave him, what's that man's name? He think he gave him Joshua to hold up his arms because his arms were tired. So it's not that we're working hard for people to acknowledge us, but while it is that we're working hard, it would be nice for our work and our contributions to our workplace to be acknowledged, whether by our institution, whether by our departments, whether by our regions, whether by the ministry, whoever it is, right? So one of the things that work for me is that even if it is that it doesn't matter where I work or where I've worked, even if it's that nobody acknowledges what I do, let me tell you something. I have a village, I have a community of people who ultimately pour into me. They pour into me, and over me they declare and continue to declare and to give God thanks for the fact that I am a mother for many children, right, spiritually. And so how I love on them and nurture them and teach them and just push them and keep caring for them even when they have behavioral issues and academic issues, development issues. They pour into me. So on days when I'm frustrated and I'm talking about it in my WhatsApp groups, or when people come over to my house or we're hanging out and I'm like, gosh, this is what is happening at my workplace and I'm so annoyed, they keep reminding me that, hey, you're there for a reason, and I know that I'm there for a reason. But sometimes you have to be reminded, because if you're frustrated, then you will not want to go, you'll not want to put out your best, right? And so my community pours into me, and my community includes my husband, my friends, my church family. They pour into me and they continuously remember that, hey, you are doing a fine job and the Lord is pleased. The Lord has commended me. The Lord has given me, thoughts that he has towards me, and I'm like, thank you. I'll keep going, kind of a thing. So if it is that you're a teacher and you are out there and you're seeing this video, it doesn't matter when you're seeing it, I encourage you to keep going. And I will say this to you, even if nobody else says this to you, your reward as a teacher who loves, cares, and just pours into the children who come in your space, your reward is eternal. And if it is that you can't wait for the eternal reward and you want to feel some kind of encouragement now, I'll say this to you. You're doing a fine job. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep impacting those lives. And when you have moments when you are frustrated and you don't want to do it anymore, you go back to the one who gave you that gift, who called you to the profession of teaching, which is God, and you say to him, I'm tired of this, I kind of don't want to do it anymore, so I need some strength. Because the truth is, as the word says, we can't do anything at all in our own strength. Yeah, in our own strength. Sorry about that. So yeah, keep going. If you're an administrator and you're watching this, even administrator at the highest level, and you're watching this, please acknowledge your teachers. Please acknowledge what they're doing. Supervisors, please acknowledge what your teachers are doing. They'll never say it, and that's why they give you attitude. I'm just letting you know from the grassroots. That's why they give you an attitude, because sometimes it is we ask a lot as administrators. We ask a lot of our teachers, but we don't give a lot, and we say, make snide remarks such as, oh, but you're getting paid to do your job, kind of a thing. Yes, we know. You think a lot of teachers are doing this for the salary? No, because if it is that they were doing it for the salary, the classrooms would be empty. And I'm not talking about the ones who put the basket where they can't reach it. I'm talking about a regular teacher who is putting the work in, does their job with excellence, and the compensation is just not good enough because of what we have to do, because of what is required of us. But that aside, they're not doing it for the it's not about just the money, it's not about it. We love our students and we put our all in what we do. And so acknowledging them, even with a note, sticky notes are cheap. Use sticky notes. Leave a sticky note on their desk. Supervisors, sticky notes on their desk. Give everybody a certificate. Do something that will make them feel, and it's not like you're doing it in a pretentious way. You're genuinely saying, hey, Miss Walker, you've been doing a good job with 7S. Miss Harris, you've been doing a good job with those boys. We're seeing the improvements, keep going. Or, what is it that you do to get those boys to do their work? Because in other classes, they're not doing any work at all. Kind of a thing. People want to be acknowledged, whether you are honest or not, I'm telling you, and that's the truth. We want to be acknowledged with what we're doing. We want to be recognized. We want to be rewarded. And for some of us, our reward is eternal. We know that. But you also want to be rewarded here. And even if you don't have it, financially to reward us, it's okay to give us a pat on the shoulder. A pat on the shoulder will do. Saying it, giving verbal recommendation or commendation that, hey, you're doing good. Because you require us that we're team players and that we put in the work and that we give you the different documents that you require at the drop of a hat, just as how you pressure teachers and you require so much of us. We should also feel acknowledged for the work that we're doing. Parents, acknowledge the work that your teachers are doing. I'm sure COVID came and COVID was an eye-opener for so many of you, because now you had the children at home with you. And so it was a terrible experience for so many of you, right? And now you recognize that, listen, a teacher's job is not easy. So please go ahead, send a note with your child to school tomorrow. Send a note with your child, or send some flowers. And you will be surprised to know that it's just simple things. Very, very simple things that you do or say that make a teacher be like, okay, I can do this, I can go another day. That's it for today's episode of Confessions of a Good Teacher. My name is Erica Tomo, and I will see you on our next episode. I can't believe I just said I'll see you. I'm doing the YouTube fingers.